Oh, hello there, Cancer. Thanks for joining me for this November general tarot reading for the sign of Cancer. Yes, it is that particular moment in space and time where we are here now to have a little looky-loo, to have a little look in to see what's going on for Cancer for the month of November. I want to thank you guys so much for all your views through October. You guys hit me hard with a lot of views, and I so do appreciate that. And I want to reciprocate by wishing you well in your journey, in all of your goals and attainment of bliss and happiness at this time. Cancer, we're going to try and streamline these readings a little bit, getting away from the long half-hour, 45-minute readings I was doing, just because I know you guys' time is valuable, and thanks again for sharing it with me, okay? We're just going to do a 7-card layout to see what's going on with the energy centers in the body and reveal any stuck energies, help with any healing messages that we can, and reveal any stuck energies so we can get moving on the right path again, so to speak. All right. Tarot feels good, like it's ready to go. I feel good, like it's ready to go. I hope you guys are feeling good. All right. Let's take a look here and see what's going on. I'll get some cards down for you, and then we'll look at the bottom of the deck for an overall energy. Okay. Here we are. 7 of Wands. Okay. Typically when we see this card, we get a sense that, there could be some aggression and some defensiveness on, one side of the coin or the other, right? The 7 of Wands is typically speaks when somebody is needing to be a little bit standoffish or a little bit more reserved or conservative in their stance, in their placement of how much they're willing, how far out on a limb they're willing to go for people and even for themselves at times. The 7 of Wands, it's okay because you have a lot to stand up for. You have a lot to protect. You've come a long way, Cancer. And you don't want to be in kind of any situation where you're feeling vulnerable at this time. That's the basic message of the card, and that's how it stands. I didn't get anything else from that, okay? Now, down here in the root chakra, we've got a 9 of Pentacles. So some of you at this time, I feel, could be choosing the single life. You could be choosing to deciding not to date if you are single. And if you are coupled up in a relationship, potentially there could be some trouble going on where it's like you could be feeling singled out. You could be feeling like there is a lack of a connection or there isn't enough sharing going on, whether it's through communication, physical lovemaking, or just time being spent with that particular someone. So my heart goes out to you to see these cards up like this. It's like Cancer standing alone, Cancer standing in a place where it's like people need to be able to rise up to that level of understanding of how emotionally powerful Cancer can be, because if they're not, Cancer is having none of it at this time. Sun transiting through Scorpio is a very busy time for most, but it affects each sign a little bit differently in terms of how much they're wanting to collaborate, how social they're actually wanting to be. And Cancer, I get this feeling on this side that you're like almost like kind of wanting to be like old Smokey Bear there and go into a bit of hibernation, but you don't want to do it too early so that you're cutting yourself off from certain things like opportunities or things of that nature. And as well, some of you could be receiving communication or messages from somebody that you haven't spoken to in a long time. That's coming up in the root chakra, okay? Now, see, one step higher, we've got a Page of Pentacles reversal coming in through the sacrum or the sacral area. So yeah, this has the feeling like there is like, it's almost like hermitish kind of energy where it's like there's a lot of time being spent in sanctuary, being spent at home, and it's kind of like your creative entrepreneurial mindset. Some of you may be like experiencing like a little bit of like a void there where it's like what can we do to inspire ourselves, or where can we build our dreams, what foundation can we build our fortune upon here. So you may just find like for some of you may just be like writing a lot or reading a lot in the comfort of your own home, and there isn't anything wrong with that at all. The Page of Pentacles coming with a message is just saying you may want to be at a standpoint where it's like you're wanting to discover or to investigate certain ways of making the most out of your time or making more for yourself, all right? This reading now is sort of taking on more along the lines of what Cancer should be doing with their time as opposed to like energy standpoint. So you may just be feeling a little bit of selfish when it comes to your time and schedule. If it's putting people off, maybe just explain to them you're doing it for you, or you're needing to take some time for yourself, okay? Now, just make sure that if you are taking that time away from social commitments or work responsibilities, that you're making the most of it, that you're not kind of like squandering it in procrastination or in sort of apathetic way where it's like if you're feeling like sort of lazy or feeling like not wanting to get much done, that sort of thing. It's really on you to give yourself the proverbial kick in the butt here, to get up, to get moving, and to get creative. It's funny how our creative centers really are our like generators that are inside of us. That sacral chakra, that one, it's like even unconsciously, like not even subconsciously, but unconsciously, how much power that has in terms of motivating us, in moving us, in getting going and taking initiative. It's overwhelming because it happens unconsciously, and suddenly we may find ourselves in a position where we don't even know why we were there in the first place, or what we originally set out to do, because we got caught up and we got caught moving like forward too far too fast and that sort of thing. Okay, so it's okay to chill out at home, to relax at home. It's just saying, can we put that time to the best use? If we're reading things for enjoyment, can we get in touch with spirit to say, okay, that was time well spent. I was able to relax. But what could I draw from that to make something new for myself, or to create some sort of new inspiration so that you can like sort of flow with it like a river, rather than just saying, that was nice, on to the next thing, that sort of thing. We want to look deeper, almost like at the mundane, or at the things that come across our five senses, our sight and our feeling. Like, yeah, you experience it, then it goes away, but it's like it's asking you to look deeper into the simple things. Okay, this is tough cards to see into here, Cancer. It's a very interesting time for you, a very meaningful time, I feel. All right, now in the willpower, we've got a King of Swords reversal. So somebody at this time might not be in a relationship, now I'm speaking, may not be listening to your ideas. They may not be accepting of what you have to say or your input, and that might be very frustrating to you, to the point where you're like, you know what, if they're unappreciative of me, I'm not going to give any more. Or they can take their half and go away. They can go do their own thing, right? This could be an older air sign for many of you. All right, we're looking at Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra at this time as somebody who's just moving very fast, or is like wanting. It's like they're wanting your help, but they're not wanting your input. They just almost want to direct you and command you to like do these things for them, or to like be a part of this. But you know what? You're not feeling that appreciation. You're not feeling like you're being heard at this time. Okay, that's a tough one to see there, because the King of Swords, when he's reversed, is a bit of a tough one to deal with, especially it's coming through in the form of a person, because this is someone that could drive you up the wall, right? They might be all very nice and ask you for your time, your help. Don't worry, I'll compensate you, I'll look after you. But really all you're wanting to do is to be a part of it. You're wanting to be heard. You're wanting to be accepted as an equal person of input, right? Where it's like, that can be like, so difficult to deal with, Cancer. All right, so I can understand why that Seven of Wands came up exactly as the card was meant to be, because it's like, you're not going to take it, you're not going to stand for that, and you're not going to be used in any sort of way, even if it isn't their intention, or if they think that they're doing you a huge favor, and it's like, you're not taking any fulfillment out of it, so why, right? Okay, up here in the heart, we've got another court card now in the Knight of Pentacles. So some of you have an earth sign, and it could be a child, it could be a younger person, Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo, that is very important to you, that is very meaningful to you, and things might not be moving forward at this time. They might be a little bit stuck. For those of you with earth sign children, they are going through a lot for some reason this year. It's very tough for them to like kind of equate or feel as though they're appreciated, even though they may not be giving as much as so that it is deserved. So it's like the feeling is it might all be take, and it's kind of like, well, where's the appreciation? Where's like the grace and the manner, even in some of these things? And normally don't get that sort of more negative take on the Knight of Pentacles, but the Knight of Pentacles, when I see it up in the heart chakra, it's like it feels like it's slowed down almost to a dead stop. Like it there's an impasse that is cannot be it cannot be moved through in a linear fashion. It has to be like circumnavigated, or you have to move around it, or find some way to connect with this person that might be out of your norm, out of your comfort zone, just so that they can understand those emotional depths, because they're really just not getting it. They're really just on that side of practicality, where it's like, if we're not communicating about the nuts and bolts and things, oh, you want to talk about the esoteric? You want to talk about the etheric and the intangible? No, I'm sorry. I don't have time for that, or I just don't understand it. I don't even know why your mind goes there, that sort of thing. And that can be difficult to deal with too. Okay, but the Knight of Pentacles is someone that is, because it's showing up in your heart chakra, so it's like they're dear to you. You feel for them. You're empathetic towards them, and it could be like drawing a lot on you. And it's like, Cancer, I realize you guys can't help it but to be empathetic, right? You can't, and it's like, I don't think it's this other person, this earth sign intention to be so selfish at this time. I just feel that it's what they're going through, or it is this sort of like issues of security that could be surrounding them, while they're not even willing to like go there, because they feel vulnerable, and they are not wanting to feel vulnerable at this time, where it's like, you are like, well, you know what, let's spend this time together, let's make the most of this time together, let's feel vulnerable together, right? And it's funny, because this reading is going into relationships and then back out of relationships, more so than any of the other signs that I've read for at this time. Okay, here's a word that's come up, integrity, right? You're asking for this, I feel. Your heart is asking for the people around you in your environment to be integral. Remember, we saw this as like Cancer standing alone. Well, the reason why is because you may be just sensing that the people are around you, there's a lack of integrity, especially with this King of Swords being here. All right, it's like, wow, you really expect a lot, but your motives are all out to lunch, are all out to wax. So I'm gonna leave you be. I'm gonna stand alone until you figure it out. And don't beat yourself up over that. It's not selfish. It's not that you're not being empathetic towards them. It just means that these people sometimes need to learn how to help themselves to come to a place of integrity, so that they can grow from this, so that they can become more of a whole person. And it's almost like you're waiting for them. We got some slow cards here, right? Nine of Pentacles is slower moving energy that's there, okay? So your heart is asking for integrity, all right? And it's tough, because when you are feeling very giving, when you are feeling very integral to a group or to a situation, and it's not being reciprocated, it is very tempting just to kind of almost like hold it over people's heads and be like, come up to snuff right now, or get out of my face, right? But you want to kind of still have that touch of grace that comes with it, so that, because you realize that maybe they're just not getting it, or their state of consciousness does not allow them to see that deep at this time, okay? Wow. Cancer. What's going on? Oh, and communicatively, here's the strength that we need to do that. To approach these things with tact. To talk to these people in a way where it's like, we're not starting an argument here, but we're trying to point out the obvious. We're trying to get through their thick skulls at times and say what we need to say, or to let people know that we want to be heard. We want to be a viable part of what's going on here. Or if you're feeling shirked or pushed to the side by somebody, and it's like you want to speak out against them, you want to tell them what a jerk they've been being towards you, but it's like having the strength to do that with that tact and that grace, and that's not an easy thing. So I would suggest meditating on this throat chakra, even through like the chanting, the deep ohms and the hums and the things like that, and then fall asleep on that, and so that the right words can just come. They can just like naturally arrive through the higher self, through the subconscious, where it's not so like analytically driven. And as well, for some of you, this strength is in this writing. This is in this reading, this taking in of information, processing it, and writing down what needs to be said, like maybe even like kind of secretly, like taking a list and putting a person's name at the top and being like, I wish they were this way, I wish they understood this, I wish they understood that, so it didn't seem like all so much at once, sort of thing. All right, and having the strength to do this in a way where it's like you're not coming off as commanding, because it's almost like at times there could be attempt to mirror this person's energy. So it's like fighting fire with fire, or in this case air with air, just like kind of like being like non-feeling and very like commanding, where it's like you don't want to do that, but it's tough, and because they have the law of attract, like we all have the law of attraction working with us at all times, whether we know it, accept it or not. So it's like you could become their mirror and fight fire with fire, but your understanding is much deeper, where it's like, no, I want this person to see this side of me and learn from me being in my true authentic self, so that they can learn from it. Because what are they going to learn if we just come back at them with the way that they're acting towards us? Not very far, okay? That sort of thing. Okay, wow. Good. Speaking of fighting fire with fire, we've got the King of Wands up here in the pineal gland in the third eye chakra, which is good. Okay, you guys, this is nice to see here, and it's because it's balancing all of this earth energy out so far. Okay, and for some of you, you could be talking or dreaming or into conversations or communications with a Leo at this time, who is like almost very enchanting, is very much there in terms of like your protection almost, or your refuge, so to speak. I don't know why I'm picking that up. This could be an older gentleman or an older lady, somebody who is like there as a helping hand, is helping you manage your situation through this. It's like normally the kind ear that you have been relying upon is maybe just not there, and then you're actually speaking with another friend as somebody who is completely removed from the situation, who can give you clear insight, can give you a fresh take on that Leo person is up. Now, this card can also, when we want to internalize it, just say like the key to managing all this, kind of giving yourself the kick in the butt and not falling into other people's games and coming down to their level, is coming from this chakra. It's coming from this third eye, from your dreams, from your meditations, staying true to yourself and managing your P's and Q's. Not that you have to manage your P's and Q's, but you're needing to manage, like you're wanting to manage these P's and Q's so that you don't end up being in a situation where they could ever come back on you, all right? Or point the finger at you, so to speak. So the King of Wands is like protection of self in this position. It's protection of spirit and protection of your good nature, and managing all your things, from your physical body to your words, everything else that came below this, right? Managing your willpower, managing it all in a way so it's like you're not coming off the cuff, or you're not, trying to take on too much at once, and those sort of things. Pay attention to this in the 5 minutes before you fall asleep at night. Say, I'm standing strong in my power. I'm Cancer. I'm going to approach this with the loving person that I am, with all of my heart, all of my soul, but I'm going to manage it in a way so that nobody is going to be able to step on it. Okay? Hope that made sense. Like the images, when I close my eyes and I get these words, sometimes it just comes out, and I'll speak for 2 or 3 minutes. I have no idea what I just said. Okay? It's part of the reason I don't point the camera at myself, is because like literally most of the time my eyes are closed and I'm like looking up at the ceiling. Well, not looking, but like my head is tilted up towards the ceiling, because I take the image from the card and then I allow it to go its ways, and then the words are like a waterfall. Anyways, back to you guys. I just wanted to kind of make that clear as to like how that works in that third eye, in that pineal gland. And you can do it too, where it's like you can shut off the thought through meditation, but you can also allow your higher self, your spirit, to take you on this journey, to show you these clues, to show you what is on the surface of the subconscious, ready to come forward to assist you and to help you, and especially to help you manage this. Okay? All right. In from source, a good card to see here, a Four of Wands. You will feel happy. A good feeling between you and another person will return again. It's like you have to let them go off and be their grumpy self for a little while, just in full faith and knowing that, they'll eventually come around again. They'll eventually give their head a shake, or they'll see what they've missed out by, giving you a cold shoulder or a silent treatment or not respecting your viewpoints. Once you turn off that love light, they're quick to realize, oh goodness, Cancer's not the, and they'll miss you, and they'll want that back. Somebody could be wanting you back at this time. They could be wanting to take you places, or want to dine, or invite you to a larger celebration. So there could be an invitation coming for many of you to attend something, to do something very fancy and a little bit upscale, I feel, for some of you. Now, the Four of Wands being that card of celebration, and for some of you, it could be if you're waiting on a proposal and it's just not coming, and you're like, where do we stand, Chuck? Where do we stand, Charlie or Bethany? It's eventually that person will come around and say, okay, yes, here, let's do this. Let's jump in at both feet. You could be just dealing with somebody that has a bit of cold feet at this time, or is just really worried about their own future and they're unwilling to share. That's the feeling I got. Okay, Cancer, love you lots, and we'll see you next time.